Welcome back to another video, Rams Nation. Today I'm bringing to you, with a broken heart, a recap of the Rams' loss to the Seattle Seahawks, 16-10. The game started off great, and the Rams offense was looking great early on when they were driving down the field, and Todd Gurley took it out to the corner near the 1-yard line. He reached out for the pylon, and it was initially called a touchdown, but after further review, he fumbled the ball an instant before his foot touched out of bounds, and the ball went through the end zone, and it was called a touchback. And that just set off a series of events of weird things that happened throughout the day. Just the Rams couldn't get anything to go their way. The Rams ended up jumping out to a 10-0 lead, but that just went away after a few Seahawks scores. There was a missed field goal from Greg Zuerlein. There was that fumble from Gurley. The Rams were like 1 of 4 in the red zone, and I believe that was only a field goal. And just the drop by Cooper Kupp at the end of the game, that's just like heartbreaking, because the Rams have they've spoiled us. Really, they're 3-1. They're playing good. They're the highest scoring team in the NFL. We're spoiled Rams fans, I know. Like, we think, oh, they're really good, but I wasn't expecting them to win. Like, when they were down on their own 20-yard line with a minute to go, I wasn't expecting them. But after that Tyler Higbee catch, we had some more life. And we got down to the 20. We had some more life. And just Cooper Kupp just couldn't hang on. I love you, Cooper. If you're watching, you're probably not, but I love you, Cooper. But I'm still pretty upset. It's all right, though, because Cooper Kupp's going to do a lot more great things in his career than just this one play. So we got to learn from that. He's human. We're all human. And he probably feels bad about it. I feel really bad about it, but it's football. Now I'm going to talk about what the Rams need to improve on. And the biggest thing is obviously red zone offense. They were 1 of 4 with the field goal in the red zone, which is just atrocious. That's been their story in the past couple years, to be honest. Like last game against the Cowboys, Greg Zuerlein had to settle for 7 field goals. And just once our offense gets shortened and it gets limited to the red zone, it is non-existent. And I believe Todd Gurley only had 1 touch in the red zone yesterday. The Rams had like 14 red zone snaps. I saw that, I don't know. But I believe Todd Gurley only had 1, and that was on that fumble. And that needs to change. And the Rams only had 3 sacks yesterday. I was expecting them to get a little bit more, since that offensive line of Seattle is not very good. But Russell Wilson does avoid pressure very well, but we have usually gotten to him in the past couple of years. I also felt that the Rams were trying to force the ball to Tavon Austin as they had him in the backfield more than usual. They ran some more reverses with him more than usual. He had 2 muffed punts, which is just unacceptable after he had 1 last week, I believe, or he's had a bunch in this season. I feel like maybe they were just trying to get confidence built up into him, but it wasn't really working. Tavon Austin is used best when they just put him in motion, because he's a threat that the defense has to respect. So you put him in motion, the defense moves, they follow him, and that's when you take advantage. He's not really the best with a ball necessarily this year. In the past he has been, but I just feel like the Rams play calling with Tavon Austin was it wasn't good yesterday. We also need to get Sammy Watkins the ball more. He only has 1 reception for 17 yards in the past 2 games. In this game, he had 0 receptions on 4 targets. We just got to be more creative with him. Maybe in the red zone, throw it to him more. We got to make him happy. He's very good. He's a very special wide receiver. If we want him to stick around for the next couple of years and sign an extension, we need to make him happy, get him the ball, get him his own touches. Jared Goff wasn't himself. Well, this year's himself. He looked like last year's Jared Goff pretty much. Early in the game, he looked good. He was 22 of 47, which is, under 50% completion percentage. He didn't make too many mistakes. I know that you look at the five total turnovers from the Rams. 1 interception from Jared Goff was it was a little high to Todd Gurley on the screen pass. Todd Gurley put his hand up in it. He tipped it, and it just fell into Sheldon Richardson's arms. And that was unfortunate. It's not like he stared down a guy and threw it. It was a little high, but it was tipped, and it was unfortunate. And the second one was a bad decision by Goff. He got hit, and he just threw a duck up in the middle of the field, and Earl Thomas, of course, is going to catch that, and he had a pretty decent return. But on that last drive by Jared Goff with a minute left, down 6 at home, you can make a name for yourself, make a name for himself, and he threw that ball to Higbee, perfect placement, and then got down inside the 20, and that pass to Cooper Kupp, a little high, but it hit him in the hands. He probably should have had it. But Jared Goff, not a bad day. The stats will say he had a bad day, but he really didn't. He also had that fumble where Clark for the Seahawks came off the edge on Andrew Whitworth, and it was Andrew Whitworth's first sack allowed of the year, and he just came on Jared Goff's blind side and forced a fumble. That's the thing that's going to happen, 4 or 5 times every year. It just happened, and it just happened in one of the worst times possible. The best takeaway that you could take away from the Rams is that their defense played good against the run. The Seahawks' run game is pretty weak this year after losing Chris Carson last week, but they only had 62 yards and averaged 2.5 yards per rush. The Rams, we've all known has been an issue. They've allowed over 130 yards per game, but they only allowed 62. Maybe this is a sign to come that the Rams defense has finally adjusted to the 3-4, and they can finally defend against the run. The Seahawks have a bye this week. They go into a bye with a win, good for them. And the Rams go into Jacksonville next week. Jacksonville's coming off of a 30-9 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. They looked impressive. They had 2 pick-sixes. They have a very opportunistic defense, and for an offense that just had 5 turnovers, the Jaguars are going to have a field day. Possibly on paper, it looks like they're going to force a lot of turnovers. The Rams, I believe, this is a good matchup because the Jaguars are a very inconsistent team. They crushed the Ravens in London. They lost to the Jets in overtime, and they just beat the Steelers, who's a pretty good team. They're struggling this year, but to beat them by that much, to force 5 interceptions on Ben Roethlisberger is pretty impressive, to say the least. But the Rams, this is, I want to call it a must-win, because if they win, they go to 4-2, and they do retake the division lead again because the Seahawks have a bye week. But if they win, they go in 4-2, and then they play the Cardinals the week after that in London, and the Cardinals just got killed by the Eagles, and that looks like the Rams are going to win that one. So if they win these next 2, then they go into a bye. That'll be a good momentum shift for them. They would end up being 5-2, that's pretty good before the bye. I mean, they were 4-12 last year. To be 5-2 through 7 games would be pretty impressive. That's it for this video, Rams Nation. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, leave a like, comment, share with your friends. Seahawks fans, if you're watching this, give me a heck in the comments. Go ahead, watch the video. That's all I care about. Thank you very much.